I'll have a go. There is no easy answer. And again, part of the paper we've produced and the results from the CEO study, the CMO study, all the studies say organisations are wrestling with this. They're struggling with data explosion. They're struggling with multi-channel. I think the thing for me that I personally find frustrating is I visit lots of organisations and lots of senior people who recognise now that their organisation is not fit for purpose. It's not just the CMO isn't fit for purpose. We talk about the customer-centric organisation. Very few organisations actually have a customer-centric organisation. And that's being exposed more and more by the world of multi-channel. It wasn't exposed historically if you only had a storefront or a contact centre. But as more and more channels open up, it exposes this. And what you see, and again, I tend to see the leaders in this tend to be in the US, where you're beginning to see the dawn of the Chief Services Officer or the Chief Customer Officer, where there is significant organisational change. And it's a shame Deepak isn't here, because he has a lot of good points on this about customer-centric organisation, as to how you align the customer processes. And it might still be across different parts of the organisation, but the more radical organisations, and in particular the internet-driven organisations, actually would have a Chief Customer Officer that is hugely data-centric, looking at the data, looking at how customers come in through the channels and how you serve those channels. There is no easy answer, but I'm going to come back to the point that if you haven't recognised this as a need for a strategy that is customer-focused, that's a big red flag, and we see that a lot. And the surveys that we've been producing, actually going back to the executives we're interviewing, they're holding their hands up and going, we now have to get our heads over what we really mean by being customer-centric.
I'll just add a couple of things. And this is not to say that Barclays are doing these things yet, by the way. But once you've got that strategy and you've got a centralised pillar, if you like, it's about providing a licence for everybody in the organisation to operate against it. So a nice example that I came across recently, John Lewis Group, who do have a licence for social media disseminated out into their branch network. So they don't control it centrally. Each of the branches has somebody who will regularly review the Twitter feed to see what's going on. You can use various, this is to Bill's point around some of these technologies are extremely cheap to deploy, if not free. They can monitor it at a branch level. If someone's making some noise, whatever that is, positive or negative, and they're actually in the branch saying, I'm having this problem in the queue or whatever it is, they can monitor that, they can see that John Lewis has been referenced, and they'll then deploy somebody from that branch to go and find that person in the store. But literally going, so they say they're in the customer service queue, we'll go down there, we'll say, okay, is somebody having some difficulty? And they'll pull that customer out and they'll address the issue. Or if the customer's left, they'll live tweet there and then. And the point about that is it's cheap technology. It's a disseminated license. You've created your policies or your procedures, but then you disseminate that out to your entire organisation and expect, or in some respects demand, that it act as one at will. That is different to the tradition, and this is, I think, to Andrew's point, Bill's point about organisations are not fit for purpose in design terms. We've had a tendency to want to control that type of presentation of the brand. And it's my firm belief that we need to create licenses and then disseminate that out to the organisation.